Welcome to Sub Brief's Naval News. Today we're going to just go over a quick summary of what the United States Navy is doing out there, and we added a couple Coast Guard ships there for you. First, I thought I'd mention an interesting fact. The United States only has 297 ships, a very small force compared to nations like China that are building forces really quick. But only 239 of those are actually combat ships. Almost 60 of those are support vessels. And if you look at the number of ships that are underway at the time of this recording, only 61 of those are actually combat vessels, and they have nearly 20 support vessels, almost a 3-to-1 ratio. So this really gives you an idea of how important our support ships are. But we're going to go over real quick what we're doing out there, beginning with the Nimitz Carrier Strike Group. They've wrapped up, mostly their support for the typhoon damage that happened to Guam. While those efforts continue on the island, she went to participate in large carrier exercise with the Ronald Reagan. Japan and France also joined us in a operation. The first time in like 3 years since the Ronald Reagan and Nimitz have done this together. Oh, and a big tip of the hat to the American Amphibious Ready Group. Those are the Marines on board their 3 big ships, joined as well. We got a couple of really great photos coming from the U.S. Navy for this. This is them sailing in formation. Really impressive. There's 2 American carriers there with a large carrier there in the center. You can see here we have a Japanese ship, looks like a destroyer, passing our carrier right there with a helicopter aloft. Looks like they're getting ready for some flight ops or something. And speaking of flight ops, look at this photo. The one on the left really caught my attention with the air wing flying in formation near the aircraft carrier. Look at that water beneath it. I tell you, if that moves something in you like it does me, you might be a sailor. You might want to look at joining the U.S. Navy, because whenever I see water like that, it just makes me want to go to sea so bad. Freaking love it. Anyway, but let's move on with our story here, moving a little bit to the west into the South China Sea. You can see that we have a U.S. Coast Guard cutter. Stratton is operating down there in the southern part of the South China Sea. And you may be asking why? Well, why do we have a Coast Guard cutter over there in the South China Sea? I get this question a lot. One, the Coast Guard operates with the Navy a lot because the Coast Guard has authorities the Navy does not have. The Navy is a military, whereas the Coast Guard is a law enforcement agency. But often they have to operate in the same theater, so they might as well work together, which is what happens often. Now, in this case, Coast Guard cutter is operating in independent duty, independent ops, down there near the island of Balabac, because this is one of the 4 new locations that the Philippines have publicly announced this week that they are allowing the Americans to operate out of now. Now, we had 5 facilities that the Philippines allowed us to operate out of starting back in 2014. We have 4 new facilities to add to that 5 for a total of 9 now. The other 3 facilities are up in the northern island. At the very northern tip, there's a small naval base up there that we can pull into. And just south of that is what I'm going to call a Marine camp, where the Marine Corps can stash equipment, barracks, you name it, ammunition. And in between those 2 sites is an international airport that connects both. So those 3 sites in the northern island are going to be used for the Americans, not for any offensive operations. I want to stress this. This is simply to pull in, rest, repair, also store equipment. That's a big thing. We're going to push a lot of supplies forward. And speaking of a lot of supplies, not included with today's brief, but I did read an article about how we are restocking our arsenal. The Navy had published its 3-year request for money to buy ammunition, essentially. A lot of long-range anti-ship missiles, rockets, you name it. If it explodes, we want to buy more of it, including torpedoes. And the LCS. And so Congress is approving that now. And we're going to try and increase the number of weapons we have, not only forward deployed, but in our own arsenal here at home as well. Because a war game found, this was conducted by CSIS, Center for Strategic and International Studies, over the holidays, that we would win a conflict with China in their scenario with heavy losses. But our biggest limitation, something that amplified our losses, was lack of ammunition. So we are correcting that. The U.S. Navy has responded to that apparently by requesting a large purchase of ammunition over the next 3 years. And the budget only goes out 3 years. It's probably going to continue for 4 and 5 and so more years. So we're going to see a lot of equipment, I think, moving into the North Island and the southern tip island of Balabac. Now, Balabac is a very small island that has one village on it that has a deep water port, so that's good for us, and a couple of Coast Guard points like a lighthouse. There's not much going on down there, so we'll see what kind of development the island of Balabac sees over the next 3 or 4 years. I expect it's going to be quite a bit because the United States pouring a lot of money into that little island. All right, let's move over to the Middle East. I got a lot of questions about this from the last time we did this. Why is the Coast Guard operating out of, or what is Pets for Swal was the first question. Whenever I told them it was the Coast Guard, they're like, why is the Coast Guard stationed in Bahrain? Well, the Coast Guard there supports a lot of the law enforcement because of the actions of the Iranians in the Straits of Hormuz. We have 6 of these fast response Coast Guard cutters, or FRCs, that are also supported by United States Navy littoral combat ships from the Independence class. There's one stationed there now. And I will say this, for our LCS being stationed and operating in the Persian Gulf makes sense. That is the one place in the world where they're really effective, I think. So if the only place we ever had to go was the Persian Gulf, we should build LCSs, but look at everything else we have to do. We shouldn't spend so much money on the LCSs, and those are now going away. But one Independence LCS is operating out of there, as well as an Arleigh Burke is backing them up. And this is Patrol Forces Southwest Asia. That's what that acronym stands for. Here's a picture of that fast response cutter. It does have a 25 millimeter chain gun remotely operated on the bow. I've seen some photos where there is a manned 50 caliber gun forward of the bridge as well. Not sure if that's on all of these, but just know that they can be more heavily armed than just the 25 millimeter chain gun. Now, what do? They enforce law enforcement. They help people at sea. A big part of the Coast Guard is assistance at sea, as well as the Navy. And I want to give a tip of the hat to the destroyer that's operating out of Bahrain right now. One of, I guess, a couple. USS McFall is an Arleigh Burke class destroyer who was at sea in the Sea of Oman, which is right outside the Straits of Hormuz. And they were rendering assistance here to these fishermen who had lost their sail, lost their means of propulsion. They probably didn't even have a radio. So they went to do an inspection, make sure everybody was okay. Of course, everybody's not okay. They assist these fishermen back to port. So good job on helping these people out. But this is also the mission that the Coast Guard does do, and that's why they're over there. We're really just helping people out, whether it's a typhoon wiping out Guam and rebuilding it, or we're helping out fishermen without propulsion or a radio at sea, helping them out. The Gerald R. Ford, let's move over to the Mediterranean now. She had been operating up in the Norwegian Sea. She came down through the North Sea by England and crossed over into the Mediterranean Sea after this graphic was made, I should note, because we have a photo from a civilian who is Moses Anahori. So I want to give him credit for this photo. The U.S. Naval Institute acquired this photo, and I acquired it from the Naval Institute. So here it is. Credit to Moses for a great photo of our aircraft carrier transiting the Straits of Gibraltar, heading east into the Mediterranean. And if my geography is correct, that would be the African side of the Strait of Gibraltar, not the actual Strait of Gibraltar there. Moving into the Atlantic, we have a Coast Guard, U.S. Coast Guard cutter Sycamore is... Sycamore is up there getting ready to participate in Exercise Argus. Exercise Argus is a large annual exercise sponsored by Denmark. So the United States, Denmark, Greenland, and France are getting ready to do a large exercise up there and apparently pick up some heavy things, because this Coast Guard cutter is actually a heavy lift ship, but all Coast Guard ships are called SGCs. And this is what it looks like. Now, this particular one in this photo is stationed over on the West Coast. This isn't the one participating in the war game, but it's the same class of vessel, a heavy lift ship at sea. And we have the rest of the ships here in the screen. You can see the USS Bataan is a bunch of Marines out there on LHD-5, supported, of course, by the United States Navy, doing some kind of workup exercise for a deployment that we don't know anything about yet, so we'll see where they end up going. And Theodore Roosevelt returned home. Congratulations to them on a long deployment in the Pacific. They hit all the ports. They did a lot of really good work with Thailand, Philippines. A big reason why a lot of our politicians have visited the Philippines lately and opened up these 4 bases is because the Theodore Roosevelt, among other ships, were visiting there and having a good time. And the U.S. Coast Guard cutter Bark Eagle spelled Barque Eagle, but it's a French word, and the French aren't very good at English, among other things. But it's pronounced Barque Eagle. The only reason why it's on this graphic is because Secretary of State Blinken did visit it over there. Also, they were doing some war games up there, so it's worthy of mention. Now, Secretary of State Blinken, as of the time of this recording, has moved off the ship and is in China now, and is going to be talking to, well, I'm told Xi Jinping, but it's probably going to end up being the Secretary of State of China, because they like to do a one-for-one conversation over there in China. It's rare that the supreme leader of China, or whatever he calls himself, is going to meet anyone that's not the president of the United States in face-to-face talks. But we'll see what actually happens of that. So Blinken went from the Bark Eagle over to China, and that's where it is now. So that's that. I'd love to leave you with this. This is a fellow sailor, Fire Controlman 3rd Class Sheldon Rachel. He's manning the comms during a live fire exercise of a Sea-Whiz system. That's a close-in weapon system on the USS Normandy, Ticonderoga class cruiser. And when I saw this picture, I fell in love with it. This guy is amazing. So what I want you to put in the chat is, what is this guy thinking right now? Looking at this cameraman taking pictures of him while he's trying to do a live fire weapons test. All right. That's what I want to see. Wrong answers only. Okay. Yeah. So big tip of the hat to the U.S. Navy around the world, doing the job with just 61 ships. We are everywhere helping out people, whether it's Guam or fishermen off the coast of the Middle East. We're doing good work, so good job to everyone. And thanks for watching, everybody. Leave a comment below, and we'll see you next time. Hey, what is that?
Join the Subbrief Patreon for 2 videos a month and all my hot Navy photos.
Join the Subbrief Patreon for 2 videos a month and all
oh my God, turn it off.
Navy photos.
Get it out of here. Is it on fire?
I want to feel your keys.
Put it out. Put it out.